Hello and welcome to the Capital Markets, coming to you live on Channels Television in Lagos. I am Bolaji Akinwale. Today on the program, we will take a look at the developments in the markets, which comprises the equities market, bond market, the activities of trustees, the offer market, and so on. My guest is Abel Ezekiel, the analyst, our analyst on the show. He will be joining me shortly. Now, before we bring in Abel, let's do some review of the market performance for the week just ended. We have the turnover at the market went up to 2.119 billion shares. Now, that's coming from 1.663 billion recorded in the previous week. The value of the turnover, that's the total volume of shares recorded for this week, stood at 25.941 billion naira. The financial services industry, when we talk about the level of volumes recorded for that sector, it led the activity chart with 1.399 billion shares valued at 8.686 billion naira. It contributed 66.02% to the total market equity turnover. Now, trading in the top three equities were Owando PLC, Mutual Benefits Assurance PLC, and Access Bank. Now, these stocks accounted for 930.3 million shares valued at 8.953 billion naira. Now, let's take a look at the movement of the index for the week. The all-share index and the market's capitalization appreciated by 2.68% to close on Friday at 29,812.05 for all-share index, and for the market capitalization, it was at 9.930 trillion naira. Now, we had all the sectoral indices for the week. The end of the week a bit flat. We saw all the actually higher. All the indices finished higher during the week, with the exception of the NSE Oil and Gas Index that dipped by 1.36%. In terms of the value change for the week, we had 35 equities appreciated in price during the week, higher than 15 equities in the preceding week. We had 31 equities appreciated in price, lower than 53 in the preceding week. In the top 10 gainers chart, we had UACN, Guaranty Trust Bank, Mansard Insurance, Flour Mills of Nigeria, NEM Insurance, Lafarge Africa PLC, Unilever Nigeria, Zenith International Bank, UACN Property Development Company, and Airline Services and Logistics. These were the top 10 price gainers for the week. On the flip chart, we have the top 10 price decliners. Dangote Flour Mills actually laid on that chart. It lost 72 kobo to close the week at 3 naira 19 kobo per share. RT Briscoe is another price loser. Ikeja Hotel, West African Provincial Insurance, AG Leventis, Champion Brewers, Learn Africa, Cadbury Nigeria, International Brewers, and Restar Express PLC were the top 10 losers for the week. We had some earnings as well during the week. Northern Nigeria Flour Mill posted an unaudited financial statement for the period ended December 31st, 2014. We also had Aso Savings and Loans Limited. It's the audited financial statements for the period ended 31st December as well. So we also had market development in terms of some news that were recorded during the week. And one of these is the Mansard Insurance actually notified the Nigerian Stock Exchange that it has completed its acquisition of 60% of Penman Pensions Limited. So we're seeing some measures and acquisitions in the market, and so Mansard Insurance had given the authority at the Nigerian Stock Exchange some notice that it planned to take over Penman Pensions Limited. Now, Owando PLC, we had the rights issues of 2.2 billion ordinary shares, so 50 kobo per share at 22 naira. We had a 2 weeks extension for that offer, so that was also notice during the week. We had the Vetiva Securities Limited, which on behalf of Owando PLC notified the Nigerian Stock Exchange Authority that the SEC has approved an extension to the acceptance period of the rights issue by 2 weeks. That's talking about Owando PLC's rights issues. And Stanbic IBTC notice of proposed board meeting, we had that as well during the week. It says that the board of directors of the company will meet on February 4th to consider the company's financial statements for the year ended December 31st. So we also had AICO Insurance. The company has notified the Nigerian Stock Exchange that it is currently in discussion with the International Finance Corporation for the grant of a $20 million convertible loan to the company. So these are some of the developments that were recorded during the week, quite a whole lot more, but we're just there to just pick this for you to be able to digest as well. It's time to go on a break. When we come back, we will look at issues in the capital market. Of course, we all know that the price of fuel right now has been slashed by 10 naira to 87 naira. We hope to bring you the report that talked about the impact of this slash on oil and gas stocks that are quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Please join us again.
Are you a healthcare provider? Have you had cases of patients complaining after taking a medication? If the patient presents a symptom that cannot be explained by progression of disease, suspect adverse drug reaction. Waste no time. Pull out the yellow form to document these complaints. Documenting adverse drug reaction guarantees patient safety, improves quality of care, and enhances patients' confidence in healthcare providers. For all adverse drug reaction complaints, please fill out the yellow form and send it to the National Pharmacovigilance Center, Zonal Pharmacovigilance Centers, or the nearest NAFDAC office, or call the following numbers. You can also send a text to 0808 6899 for pickup of the completed forms, or send an email to npcadr@nafdac.gov.ng.
Be a pharmacovigilante.
This message is brought to you by the National Pharmacovigilance Center, NAFDAC, in collaboration with the National Malaria Elimination Program, Federal Ministry of Health, and supported by Global Fund.
You're welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the capital markets from Channels Television broadcasting from Lagos. It's now time to begin a conversation on the program. Abel Ezekiel, a market analyst, is here to take a look at the developments during the week. Welcome to the program, Abel.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. We had a rise in the turnover. That's the first thing that, that actually crossed my mind when I looked at the numbers. We have the index, or rather the volume for the week, rising from 1.66 billion to over 2 billion.
2.119. Yeah. Yes. I think what I can easily, one can easily describe as the reason for that was previous week, the price were coming down, so people were careful, or people were cautious in really taking positions, because normally or ideally you buy when the price is coming down, but in doing that you still have to be careful so that you don't go in when it hasn't bottomed out. Do you understand? That is to say, when the tendency for it to still go down more is still very high, if that perception is there. So what happened was, as of last week, it was a cautious approach. So towards the end of the week, or by the end of the week, it became obvious that the price had gotten to a reasonably bottom point. So what happened this week was positioning, taking that, because if you look at what would let credence to that assertion is, if you look at specifically UAC, as of last week it was dropping. It dropped as much as, to 25 naira. But look at what happened this week now. As of yesterday, it was 37 naira. In fact, which gave it that highest gain of about 17%. Actually, on Monday, it was 31 naira. It now closed yesterday as 37 naira, a difference of about 6 naira, which gave it about 18% return, or return, as it were. So what I'm trying to explain to you, or what I'm trying to say now, is that this week is a week of more or less taking position or positioning, you know. So, and that is what led to the volume increasing substantially. If you look at it very well, the value to, you know, went up about 16 billion to about 25 billion this week. So it's a pointer that investor and shareholder really take position because of the fact that the prices had actually gotten to, because it is now a graph you can really plot, you know, give you that peak up and down kind of a scenario. So investors are taking position this week because the price had gotten to a point where you can, you know, easily say that fine, it has, you know, is, you know, bottom out.
Are investors, especially domestic investors,
Yeah.
taking position right now in terms of having to buy the stocks
Yep.
since the prices have bottomed out?
Yeah.
Do you think that they're making such moves?
Yes, they are doing that. They are doing that because the reason for that, I mean, the reason behind that is the fact that this is the lowest price you can have. So if you don't buy now, or if you don't position yourself now, honest, I mean, at a point in time, it's like you just have yourself to blame. So you are saying GT Bank has about 17 naira. What's it called? Zenith Bank came at about 15 naira, 45 kobo within the week. So it gives you an opportunity to position yourself. And remember, this is end of January. We are moving to February. Very soon, as per the report you gave concerning Islamic IBTC, that they want to hold their directors meeting February 4 towards, you know, declaring or taking a decision on corporate action. So it will give you an idea that anytime from now, a lot of issues or news will be coming up from this company. So people are now looking at it that it's better you take position, and now that it's low, it's better so that by the time they take this corporate action, if it happens, it turns out to be favorable, you make a lot of money.